Most people have a basic understanding of the ominous environmental crisis. However, the correlation between deforestation and its effects on climate change is unfamiliar. Only a minority amount of communities are taking action towards deforestation of native forests. In turn, a few different measures have been put in place in order to reduce and restrict deforestation. Earlier this year, I read an article about how deforestation of the Amazon rainforest has risen by 28% in a year. After reading this article, I decided to do more research on this issue called deforestation and its effects on the environment. Deforestation, which is also known as clearing, is the removal of forest or woodland areas to make room for either farmland or urbanisation. This is shown in the map of the world provided, with dark brown areas showing the regions greatly affected by deforestation. To get a better perspective on what deforestation does, I interviewed National Park Ranger Barry Angus to ask some questions on the issue. What effect does deforestation have on the environment?
Deforestation is having a disastrous effect on the environment, which is also demolishing nesting areas for birds, in addition causing erosion and reducing the chances that wildlife have on finding food.
What ways do people reduce the effect of deforestation?
We have created a few different methods, including the creation of national parks and reserves. A substantial method is the creation of logging farms, which is sustainable and reduces the amount of native bushland cleared.
There are many different views on this issue, including groups that believe it's excellent for the economy. For example, in Tasmania, there is a major job shortage. To counteract this, the Tasmanian government is trying to shrink the World Heritage area to make room for logging farms. Another view is that it is renewable due to the many logging farms and with people continuously planting new trees each year. They also argue that it provides farmland and grazing areas for animals such as cows and sheep, which people benefit from. Those that favour logging believe wood is an important resource which is used in homes, businesses and other buildings such as churches and museums. Surprisingly, it can also benefit the surrounding forests, opening up spaces for new vegetative growth. Sustainable logging companies are selecting non-native plants for removal to help control the invasive species. Other negative views include the reduction of biodiversity, the limitations of breeding grounds for many species such as macaws, and its major effect toward climate change. These opponents argue that the burning of trees leaves 1.5 billion tonnes of carbon into the Earth's atmosphere, which is contributing to the degeneration of the planet's ozone layer that by scientific views is considered unsustainable. This is shown throughout the rainforests of South America, as it leaves many animal species on the brink of extinction. Many groups also believe that degeneration causes rapid soil erosion, and as the soil washes away, more of the nutrients that are needed in the soil also wash away. This can lead to the devastating landslides which can result in the death of many people. An example of different responses to deforestation can be seen between Australia and Brazil. Brazil, for example, has been affected the most, with about 20% of its forests cleared in the last 43 years. Their main reason for clearing is for cattle ranches, hydroelectric dams, mining activities, soybean productions and logging. To help counteract this problem, the Brazilian government has established more parks, nature reserves and forests, estimating around 200,000 square kilometres. Since the 2000s, NASA has been using satellites to monitor the amount of forest cleared. As shown in the image of state Mato Grosso, red being the amount of forest cleared in 2004, blue showing 2003 and yellow presenting 2002. On the other hand, in Australia, land clearing is used for agriculture, urban use and backburning for bushfires. Although only 13% of Australia's forests have been destroyed since European settlement, as shown in the table. This table is a native vegetation inventory assessment of native vegetation by type prior to European settlement, and which was done between 2001 and 2004. The government has placed different measures of managing and regulating deforestation, including federal policies such as Environmental Protection and Biodiversity Conservation Act, Native Vegetation Act, Threatened Species Conservation Act, Native Parks and the Wildlife Act. These different acts prevent logging companies from clearing areas that contain endangered species and areas that surround national parks. Most of the sources that were used to collect this information were based on fact and not opinion, with the majority being unbiased scientific articles. However, Although most sources were credible, some sources such as blogs can be considered to possibly contain false information. After collecting information on deforestation, it can be established that this issue has both positive and negative aspects, and different countries follow a more resourceful approach to the issue. Deforestation is both argued in subjective and objective agendas. The beneficiaries for deforestation commonly benefit humanity rather than the ecological and environmental reason.